I'm here with Ben and John. We've had a great day today. We went to Rabobank first thing this morning, and then we went to the north of Holland. We had an amazing privilege today of actually having lunch with a Dutch farmer and having a discussion with him and having a look around the farm. What did you find most insightful from our visit to Geert today?
Oh, there was many different things, I suppose, but yeah, it's just the way that they run it, I suppose, compared to the way we run it back home. It's similar, but it's very different at the same time. And now, he plans, like he's thinking ahead, like what's next, like all the little things that he's decided to do, with the canola oil, like running canola oil with tractors and all that sort of stuff instead of diesel to save this and save that. Like there's so many different things that like he's thinking ahead. It's good to see.
Very self-reliant. Like he does everything he can to sort of keep it all in his business, and even as far as the composting and using his canola oil for running of the trucks, and obviously out of the composting comes the compost tea that he uses.
Yeah, he was very much into circular economy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Sort of dealing with a lot of local farmers.
And even local people, like getting the kids in from the local school on a Saturday to do the bottling of the canola oil that he sells in the stores and stuff like that was very interesting.
And trying to keep it all local, like sending the wheat to the local like bakeries and all that sort of stuff too. Like just trying to keep it all in house.
And there's certainly a lot of challenges for the Dutch farmers. We heard a lot about that today. The pressures on them for sustainability, and I guess we really heard about their economic viability. And Geert was very much master of his own destiny, wasn't he? What he was trying to do.
He had his mind set on what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted to do, and he wanted to try and stick to it as best he could too. So
we often talk about subsidies that European farmers get, but there seems to be lots of strings attached to it, so they may not be all that fantastic as
always a bit of a
often
catch
think.
to it too.
One of the things I thought was the calendar farming, which I thought was amazing. Were there any things like that which you thought were
really stood out there, like especially like everyone's going on about climate change and everything too, like it's crazy, like especially now, like the farmers in Europe struggling now because of the weather. It's pushing later or it's going earlier, which means they're affecting, like it's their crops staying on longer than it should, which means they're getting fines and everything for it.
Even though climate can control so much of the harvesting season and everything, that they're still expected to have things done by a certain time, and if they're not, then fines apply and everything, as we heard today.
We heard a lot about ESG at Rabobank. And I guess the conversations also at Farm of the Future that we went to as well is that, there are goals by 2030 that farmers have to meet. But I think even a little bit like Australian farmers is people are still struggling to get ahead. It's around exactly what that means.
What actually is that by 2030? What actually is that?
What have you learnt from our visit to the Netherlands?
It really is amazing just how diverse it is. Like you said, on one end you got a place like Hessing that's so big and provides for so much of the Netherlands and importing and exporting, down to someone like Geert, but he still contributes so much to the industry, even though he's on such a smaller scale. And he's a person that I think a lot of other people in the Netherlands could look to or just hear words of wisdom from, and
just sort of aspire to.
And especially tougher times for them like now.
Thanks very much,
Perfect.
guys. Really appreciate it.
No worries at all.
Awesome.
Been great.
Thank you.